So a question I've been getting a lot lately since I've explained how my fist system of measuring food works and how I can get away with not really counting calories is that doesn't food type, food quality matter, particularly in the context of energy balance? Because, you know, like 8 ounces of steak is different than 8 ounces of McDonald's, right? Well, the answer to that question is 100%. You're absolutely right. But that is why I measure amount instead of calories. Here's the thing, folks. Because of thermodynamics, because of energy balance, the type of food you eat matters. It matters a lot, but the amount of food you eat matters the most. When I use my fist system to measure my food amounts, so that gives me, 4 to 8 ounces of meat per serving. That gives me 2 to 4 ounces of one kind of vegetable and another kind of vegetable per serving. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at roughly a pound of food. If I ignore food type and stick to the fist measurement, measuring the food amount, the food volume, immediately puts limits on how off the rails my calories can get if I replace something like steak with, say, pizza or a quarter pounder with cheese or something. When it comes to highly palatable, highly processed foods, if you don't put a quantity limit on yourselves and you just try to plug in macros and calories, what oftentimes happens is your psychology will defeat you when the X's and O's say that you should be succeeding. 500 calories of steak is pretty satisfying. That's like a 7-ounce steak. 500 calories is like one McDonald's sandwich. And you can probably eat, most of us, 2, 3, maybe even 4 of those in one sitting. So what happens is, if your primary arbiter of what you eat is the volume, certain food choices become more or less amenable to that volume designation. So you might be like, oh, okay, well, my coach says I can have a fist-size amount of food, so I'll have a McDonald's cheeseburger, or let's make it more egregious. I'll have a large French fry. That's roughly a fist-size thing of food, right? Well, how are you going to feel after eating that? You going to be satisfied? Probably not. So either you fail and fall off the wagon, or you go a day being unsatisfied, and then you learn via the discomfort, oh, next time I'm given the option of having a fist-sized amount of food, maybe I should choose something else. So then the next time, instead of a large French fry, you go, oh, okay, I'll have a quarter pounder. Well, you're marginally more satisfied, but still not so much. Then, the third time, you're like, you know what? I'm going to have a steak instead. And then this time, you're like, oh, that actually was almost too much food. It was super satisfying. So by limiting yourself to a specific amount of food, it almost pigeonholes you into having to make better food choices in terms of type. Then if you layer on top of that, making good food choices already going into the quantity discussion, between the quantity not allowing you to go too overboard on calories, and then the quality further compounding that effect, what ends up happening is just by default, you have a wide variety of nutritional inputs, micronutrients, macronutrients, and a built-in caloric deficit with your protein requirements for the most part fulfilled. So if you measure the quantity of your food, filter that quantity through what actually gets you satisfied, and then develop a candidacy list of items to choose from, you're set up for success from the beginning without having to rely on a calorie or macros calculator. Thanks for watching.